So maybe this vlog will give you some ideas, or if not, maybe you'll just have fun seeing just how uncomfortable I can be reading stuff like that. Hey guys, welcome back. Ignore my mess. I think I got most of it out of the frame. I'm rearranging, as you can probably tell. You actually maybe have already seen a video where it's like this. I can't remember. Anyways, as of now, you've already seen the collaboration video between me and Alana where we did challenges for each other. So hopefully you've seen mine. Hopefully you went and checked hers out. At first I thought that was going to be my only like Valentine's video. Alana asked if I wanted to read like a wild, crazy short story romance, and so we picked Alien Vampire, which we did read. And I don't know, I was like, maybe I should just pick a couple of like short stories like that and do a little vlog about it. And so Alana had the brilliant idea of a box of chocolates. So I grabbed a little box of chocolates from the Dollar Tree. There are 4 chocolates in here. And what I am going to do is, I've already ahead of time went and found anything that I could find that was a Valentine's related short story kind of thing. Just like weird, crazy short story romance. And so I'm just going to pull out 4 of these and I'm going to stick them in the box with the chocolate. I'm going to start from my, I think, least favorite chocolate in the box and go up to my favorite chocolate in the box. And I'm going to rate each piece of chocolate and rate each short story. I think it'll be fun. I'm going to pick out 4 of these. And I'm just going to like lift up the chocolate and like stick it under there. That's how we're going to do this. So there's my chocolates and the short story with them. So I gotta figure out which one would be my least favorite. Probably the orange cream. And it's like 8 o'clock in the morning at this point. It's not even 8 o'clock yet. And I've got to bite into an orange cream. That is this one. Let's rate it. At least they did pair it with the dark chocolate, which means you taste more of the chocolate than the orange. But I think I'm going to give it like a 4 out of 10. Okay. Maybe a 3 out of 10. Yeah. Okay, anyways. So, let's see. First up, my first short story is going to be Valentine with the Mountain Man. Before I read that, though, last night I did go to Dutch Bros to try the Valentine's drinks. And I read the Space Vampire. So first I'm going to tell you how that went. I'm getting ready to go to Dutch Bros. Josh is about to air up my tire. I've got a slow leak in that front tire. Josh is looking at me while I record. I want to fix that seat before you get in.
Oh, this is great.
The seat won't go down. You've got the passenger seat too far back to put the thing down.
It's always my fault.
What's Wyatt doing?
Probably looking for me.
Can I help you?
Where is he?
So
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get Josh a coffee, and I'm gonna try the Valentine's Day drinks.
ooh.
I'm almost finished with The Great Hunt, so that's book 2 of The Wheel of Time. I should finish that on the way down, so on the way back I'm gonna try to read my first of the Valentine's short stories.
Bye.
Alright, so you're at 38 pounds. Take this with you. When you push on it, it's going to register the pressure. To release it, you got to push that. That way you'll know. Because, I mean, flat is obviously flat. Love you.
Love
Careful
you.
in the rain.
I will.
Bye. You know,
Bye.
crazy women driving.
And I've got to stop and get gas. Oh, I hate stopping to get gas. I could run into the gas station and get a Rebel for tomorrow, though. Okay, so you'll have to excuse the horrible lighting. This is the mocha, and I think it's got like pink frosting soft top, so that's a pretty good Rebel. So I think it's blackberry and vanilla. All right, so same soft top. Pretty good. And I think I'm gonna give the Rebel an 8 out of 10. And I might give the coffee a 9 out of 10. The other thing is, where did I put it? I guess I'll have to show you the sticker when I get home because I can't find it. I read the first story, the alien vampire, just finished it, and it actually wasn't that bad. It is by the same author that wrote the Ice Planet Barbarians, so I am familiar with the writing. I didn't expect for the writing to be bad. So in this one, your main character is a human, and she is with these aliens, and so she's basically treated like a pet. And she was hiding, and while she was hiding, the entire space station that they're on was like evacuated because there was some monster on board. And so she ends up discovering him, and at first she doesn't realize that he was the monster, but it turns out that he was in fact the monster. He's a vampire that they accidentally created through gene splicing. So I thought that was kind of an interesting concept. And it was also interesting and I guess kind of funny, or maybe a nod to her series or whatever, that he's blue but with red eyes, and also he has a tail. And so if you've read the Ice Planet Barbarians, you know that that's like the aliens, they're blue with tails. Anyways, they make a plan to leave the space station and to find a planet where he can survive somewhere with not a lot of sun. And that is what they do. He is a vampire, so he does have to drink blood, and he does drink that from her. That's where the erotic part of the story comes in. But I do feel like if you had taken that part of it out and just kept it as a story between, you know, this like human who discovered this like alien monster thing, and they just fell in love and decided to escape their situation, I still feel like it would have been a good story. So I'm giving this one 3 stars. I have a feeling this is going to be my favorite of the vlog. Hopefully it won't be too bad, but I kind of have a feeling it's all going to be downhill from here. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Okay, I came into my office to tell you about my book because I don't know if I want my kids to hear me describe these books. I read Valentine with the Mountain Man. Not to be confused with Valentine's with the Mountain Man, because that was one too. So anyway, so I ended up giving this book 2 stars. I think it was going to be a pretty solid 3-star up until the end. And the ending was just weird. So in this one, your main character, Ella, she doesn't have a boyfriend. She gets laid off from work. She's kind of feeling sorry for herself, and her friend tells her to just get away. And so she ends up booking like a secluded cabin in the mountains. On the way, it of course starts to snow, and she gets stuck because her car breaks down. And then the male main character, of course, comes by and offers for her to stay with him until the snowstorm is past. So she goes to the cabin with this guy. He's a hermit. He wants to be alone. And she is kind of like shaking things up for him. They kind of have this little bit of attraction. The power goes out and they have to like cuddle for warmth, that sort of thing. One thing leads to another, and they sleep together. And then he's like, you know, this was a mistake, and just is being kind of an asshole about it because he's trying to run her off. And she's like, I could just go back home or I could fight for this. She's known this guy for like 2 days. She's like, why are you pushing me away when you know that this means something? I love you. Okay. And then not only that, he's basically like, yeah, I love you too, but I've had a lot of things happen in my past. The reason that I'm giving this 2 stars is because like the setup for all of this is fine, but what happened was not only, you know, was it kind of the like it's been 2 days and I know this is crazy, I love you, but it kind of goes back and forth a little bit towards the end. So instead of them like saying, yes, let's give this a try, and then go to the epilogue and it's, you know, a year later and they're getting married, it didn't do that. It had her say, well, you know, I need to go back just for a little while. I need to get my life, and I need to get everything arranged and just, you know, figure everything out. And of course, you know, he's like, okay, well, you're not coming back, obviously. And she's like, no, I'm coming back. And he's like, no, you're, you know, you're not, whatever. So she goes back, and it, you know, it talks about her. She goes to this job interview that she had lined up, and she doesn't know if she should accept it. And she talks to her landlord, all this stuff, and they're kind of talking on the phone in between. And then it said that she made it like 10 days, and then she went back. Then it cuts back to his point of view over that time period. And, you know, she didn't call until it had been 3 days after she left. And she said that she had made it back, whatever. And like he hung up on her that time. And then they talked again. And, you know, she hung up on him one time. And then it was like, it got to the point where he was going to go to Seattle. But before he could, then she showed up. And then yet again, they profess, you know, their love for each other again. Then it goes to a year later when he finally proposes to her, and he's like, I know it's only been a year, and I know we said we would take this slow. Bitch, you said you loved each other after 2 days. But the whole, like, it couldn't decide how it wanted to end. It was, I don't know, it was just awkward towards the end. And so I did kind of have to give it that 2 star rating. So that means, though, that I can pick my next chocolate and my next book. Next up is the chocolate strawberry one, which is the square one. That one's not as bad because the strawberry cream doesn't taste like anything. Also, I just realized earlier that I rated the chocolate out of 10 and I'm rating the books out of 5, which doesn't make sense. This is 3 out of 5. It's just, it's okay. It's whatever. But exciting part is I get to see what book I'm going to read next. Okay, next up is Beautiful Nightmare, which is another one of that like series of novellas that the space alien is in. And I think they're actually supposed to be Halloween romance stories, but you know, Valentine, you can have like Summerween, you can have Winterween. Why can't you have Valenween? Yeah, Valenween. I don't know, maybe there's something out there like that, or maybe I just made something up. So if that doesn't exist, I trademarked that.
A few moments later.
Um, that was something. Your main character is a demon. She is a night paralysis demon, and she's bad at her job because like she's supposed to be feeding off of a human's fear, and she doesn't like the taste of fear. Also, there's the complication that she goes into this man's bedroom and like gives him sleep paralysis and then gets on top of him to eat his fear. And it is not fear that he feels. And when she sits on him, he finishes. It's so bad. It is so bad. And so she like comes back, and of course like she can shape shift. So at one point she actually turns into something scary and scares him. But then she feels bad about it. Like he writes her a note, like a letter, and saying like, I know that you need to eat my fear or whatever, but can we just talk first or something? Like, you know, and just I want to get to know you and just craziness. Anyways, she feeds off of his lust, but her mentor or whatever catches them doing that. And so she is disappeared, which basically means she's turned into a guardian angel instead, and she can stay with him, and she can also like go, she can disguise herself as a human and go out and like do things with him so they can like go on dates and stuff now. And that was it. I think I'm gonna give that one star. I didn't like it. I did not like it at all. Let's try this again. I think I'm gonna choose the caramel next. I think I'm gonna give this one a 4 star. It's better than the other two, definitely, but still cheap chocolate. It's a tongue twister. The part we actually want to know about. Okay. Next, we're gonna read something called Praised by Cupid. I can't wait to see how this is gonna go. No, don't do that.
I'm hungry again.
Okay. It's almost lunchtime. I don't know if I can talk about this book. Wow. Like my parents watch. The main character, Dana, her friend brings her a Cupid statue that she got from a yard sale for like $10. And she puts it at the foot of her bed. And she's like, you know, it'll bring you good luck. And so she does get, oh wait, well, first of all, she like pleasures herself in front of the statue. Yeah. Um, And then she is on an app and she gets a date and they come back and they're gonna like, you know, do it, and he like he leaves because the Cupid statue is coming to life and wants him to leave, so he pokes him with the not the love arrow but the hate arrow, and so he leaves. She has an item that she used with her girlfriend and she puts it on the statue and uses it on the statue. The statue will fully come to life. And so he does, and then all of a sudden she's like, whoa, wait a minute, this is too weird. And then the rest of the book is her being worried about how he's gonna get a job and stuff because he doesn't have any, you know, papers. And then also her basically saying that he's lying every time that he says that she's pretty or beautiful or whatever because she feels like she's fat and not attractive. And he calls her Rubenesque. I did highlight a few things in there. Let me go see what they were. At one point he says, I'm just a statue, baby. Oh, I forgot also, he can make his member turn back into stone. I don't see how that would be comfortable, but it happens. I almost forgot. Or maybe I tried to wipe it from my memory. This whenever he finishes, it makes hearts float around in the air, and it tastes like conversation hearts apparently. It's so disgusting. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, let's see what the last book in this vlog is gonna be. Okay, so the last chocolate is the milk chocolate cocoa truffle, which is usually the best one. I still think it's only a 4 out of 5. Definitely the best in the box, but still you can tell that it's cheap chocolate, like I said. Anyway, so it's another one of those little, you know what? I've already read 2 of those. I don't know, I'm not feeling that one. And I reserve the right to pull a second choice. I feel like I want to do something a little bit different instead of doing 3 of those in the vlog. So I'm gonna see if I pick out something else. Okay, so I pulled Rescued by the Valentine Bear. Why not? Let's give it a try. I'm gonna listen to the audiobook for this next short story or whatever, and while I do that, I'm going to bake some cupcakes, and I think I'm gonna try to make them heart-shaped. I think that's half a heart, but you get the idea. Speaking of Valentines, this is my Valentine. I love it so much. I did finish that book while we made cupcakes, and I think I'm gonna give it, I'm thinking 2.5, which is gonna end up being a 3 on Goodreads. It wasn't bad. It's definitely like meant to be read as a full series. So in the very beginning, in the prologue, this woman is at this like heart thing, this giant heart, and she can tell that these two are, you know, they're fated mates or whatever. Anyways, so then it cuts to the 2 of them and they're at the Valentine's Day festival, and there are rogue shifters around, and he knows that, and he sees this like shadow and her tent like collapses or whatever, so he like saves her, and then all of a sudden there's a random like snowstorm that comes in, and so they have to go into like this cabin to stay safe from the storm. And while there, this rogue shifter like breaks in and tries to get her. The guy is a bear shifter, and so he captures the rogue werewolf shifter or wolf shifter. I don't know the proper terminology. Anyways, and he says something about the rising flame is coming, something like that. And anyways, he calls the shifter council or whatever, and they're gonna send somebody to come get the guy. Meanwhile, the storm is over. So they go back out to get their stuff. Oh yeah, by the way, they kind of kissed, and then he was like, "We're nothing," and she had hurt feelings, and then he's like, "I'm sorry, we're actually fated mates," and she's like, "Oh, okay." And so they go back out, and they're like packing up her stuff, and then they solidify their bond. And then at the end, the epilogue is the same woman from the beginning at the like magic heart thing, and the magic, there's, she knows that their bond was formed or whatever, but she senses the dark magic or whatever. And then you're supposed to read the rest of the series to figure out what happens with that, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and pick just one more because why not? It's my vlog. I can do what I want to. I chose Game Girl. And I'll have my phone in there, but if I remember correctly, it's a sentient object romance. I did, in fact, find my Dutch Bros sticker, by the way. It was between the seat and the center console. So, got that. I did finish Game Girl, which was a sentient object romance. She has a streamer boyfriend. She's a streamer. He ruins it for her so she doesn't game anymore. And her cousin convinces her to get like a retro gaming system and focus on retro games. So she does. She gets this gaming console, and the game that is in it is like a dating simulator. So she ends up playing it, and she ends up like playing it all night and doesn't even realize it. And that happens a couple of times. And she ends up every time going with the same guy. And apparently he is trapped in the game because his ex-girlfriend or whatever cursed him, and so he's stuck in the game. She kind of gets freaked out because he starts interacting with her and not her avatar, like talking to her and answering her things that she's like saying out loud. And one thing leads to another, and she tries to use the video game controller for things, and it the joystick turns into something else, and just eventually it turns into the guy. Like the guy grows from the controller. I will say the initial part of it, her like realizing that it's this guy trapped in the game and she wants to try to help him, to see if she can help him to get out. That part was okay. The part where she was doing questionable things with a video game controller, not so much. And then the fact that it was like literally burning her when it turned into the guy, that part was weird. Why did we need to include that? But anyways, yeah. So apparently his ex-girlfriend's like a witch or something, because the store where she went to get the gaming console from apparently has a bunch of like cursed objects that are people, and she's done this more than one time. It was, I gave it 3 stars. Nothing got above 3 stars. I don't know if I could say that this was a successful vlog, but it was definitely interesting. I definitely read some things that I normally wouldn't read. So there's that. So hopefully it was interesting for you. Will I do this again? Probably not. If I ever read another erotic book, I don't know if I'm going to tell you about it. That is over, thankfully. Thanks for sticking around for that. It was weird, I know, but happy Valentine's Day to those of you that celebrate. If you read this type of romance, maybe you got some suggestions if you like more traditional romance, especially cozy fantasy romance, which is something I'm really digging right now. Hopefully I've already posted my video with my recommendations for that. If not, it will be coming soon. Yeah, that's all for me for right now. I think I'm gonna go read something scary and gory or something, and with no romance whatsoever at all. Anyways, hopefully I will see you in another video soon. Bye guys.